The story is moving at a breakneck pace, and the impending collision course between Ethan's lies and the truth of Phoebe's paternity is going to shatter the canvas. This is not just about a fake DNA test anymore. This is about a predator lurking in the dark, waiting for the perfect moment to strike when his targets are at their most vulnerable. The narrative is begging us to look forward, to see the trap that has already been set, rather than focusing on the bait. Let us quickly set the current board so we know exactly where all the pieces are standing in this dangerous game. Ethan Lovett has realized that a mysterious enemy is tracking his every move, leading him to the terrifying conclusion that staying in Port Charles is a death sentence for him and Phoebe. He is planning a highly dangerous, desperate escape to take the little girl and vanish before this unknown threat can strike. The only person he trusts with this explosive secret is Ava Jerome. Ava, surprisingly, is not just keeping his secret. She is actively orchestrating their getaway. She is using all of her underground connections to secure forged documents, untraceable vehicles, and safe houses, all while keeping the rest of the town completely in the dark. In the process of this high-stakes collaboration, Ava is developing genuine, deep romantic feelings for Ethan, binding her fate to his in a way she never anticipated. But here is the critical piece of the puzzle. They are entirely unaware that their every step is being watched. The unseen watcher already knows everything, including the devastating fact that Ethan and Ava fabricated the DNA results to make Ethan look like Phoebe's biological father. As Ethan and Ava prepare to make their final run for the city limits, a sudden, violent ambush is set to occur. The attacker does not want money or simple revenge. They want to kidnap Phoebe. This ambush is merely the starting line. The current board is set for a massive abduction, and the only question that matters now is the true identity of the man orchestrating this nightmare. Let us build the first future scenario, which revolves around the mysterious WSB head, known only as Z. We know Valentine Cassadine recently met with Z in Geneva to expose Ross Cullum. But what if Z's sudden interest in the Port Charles drama, including the rescue of Jocelyn Jacks, was nothing more than a brilliant, calculated cover? If Z is actually Phoebe's biological father, the implications are staggering. He would have the entire global intelligence apparatus of the WSB at his disposal to track Ethan's every breath. He wouldn't just be a father looking for his child. He would be a commander moving an invisible army into Port Charles to execute a flawless extraction. In this future, Z has been pulling the strings from the very beginning. He allowed Ethan to believe he was successfully hiding, only to spring the trap at the exact moment Ethan felt a false sense of security. Who benefits here? Z, obviously, as he reclaims his daughter with zero legal repercussions, using his immense power to bury the kidnapping under layers of classified WSB operations. But who is in danger? Everyone who ever helped Ethan? If Z is the father, this could lead to a massive war between the citizens of Port Charles and a rogue intelligence agency. Ava and Ethan would find themselves hunted not just by a man, but by a global superpower. The story could be heading toward a massive international espionage thriller, where rescuing Phoebe requires Valentine, Anna, and Carly to go up against the very organization they just tried to save. The balance of power in the spy world would completely collapse, turning Port Charles into a war zone. Now, let us pivot to a second future, one that is entirely different and infinitely more terrifying. What if the man waiting in the shadows, the true father of Phoebe, is none other than Peter August? I know we all watched him die. But this is Port Charles, and the dead rarely stay buried if they have unfinished business. If Peter is alive and is the biological father, this is not just a minor variation of the plot. It is a fundamental shift that changes the entire landscape of the show. Peter August does not just want his child. He wants to inflict maximum psychological torture on anyone who dared to claim what is his. The ambush would not just be a clean extraction. It would be a sadistic display of power meant to break Ethan and Ava physically and mentally. If that happens, the sheer terror that would grip Maxie, Anna, and Valentine would paralyze the town. Peter's return would instantly make him the apex predator of Port Charles once again. The bigger consequence may be the absolute destruction of the fragile peace our heroes have fought so hard to build over the last few years. Peter would use Phoebe as the ultimate leverage, forcing people to commit heinous acts just to ensure the little girl's safety. Ethan and Ava would be thrust into a deadly game of cat and mouse, where the stakes are not just custody, but their very souls. This path would turn the show into a dark, psychological horror story where nobody is safe, and the trauma of the past is resurrected to haunt a completely new generation. But there is a third future, and it is the most unexpected possibility of all. What if the man orchestrating this ambush is Tristan, the mysterious new business executive scheduled to debut in the highly anticipated 16,000th episode? We have been told Tristan will arrive in July, but what if that is a lie? What if Tristan has already been in Port Charles for weeks, lurking in the background, carefully observing Ethan and Ava's every move from the shadows? If Tristan is Phoebe's real father, his delayed on-screen introduction is a masterclass in suspense. He doesn't need the WSB's resources or Peter August's legacy of terror. He has the element of complete surprise and absolute anonymity. He knows the DNA test was faked because he possesses the true genetic proof within his own veins. This unexpected scenario introduces a completely blank slate, a highly capable, dangerous new player who has already outsmarted Ethan and Ava before they even knew they were playing a game. Tristan wouldn't just take Phoebe, he would dismantle Ethan's life piece by piece to ensure he could never come looking for her. This creates a fascinating dynamic where a brand new character instantly becomes the most dangerous man in town, holding all the cards and forcing our established characters to react to his brilliant, flawless strategy. If you ask me, we have to look at the narrative trajectory of the show to figure out which path makes the most sense. While the idea of Peter August returning is undeniably terrifying, and Z utilizing the WSB is a fantastic concept for a spy thriller, I keep coming back to the idea that Tristan is the mastermind. The path that feels most likely is the one that builds the future canvas of Port Charles, rather than recycling the villains of the past. Tristan, arriving as a furious, protective, and ruthless biological father, instantly anchors this new character to the core canvas. It immediately puts him at odds with Ava Jerome, one of the most formidable, dangerous women in town, and gives Ethan a dedicated, personal nemesis that he cannot simply out-charm or outrun. It makes perfect narrative sense to use this explosive paternity secret to launch a brand new era for the show's 16,000th episode. Bringing in Tristan as the orchestrator of the ambush provides fresh blood, new motivations, and unpredictable tactics that the audience has never seen before. It elevates the drama to the next level because we don't know what Tristan's boundaries are. We know how Peter operates, and we know how the WSB operates, but Tristan is a wild card. And in a soap opera, the wild card is always the most exciting element to watch unfold. But the kidnapping itself is not the end of the line. Looking ahead, we have to ask, what happens after the father, whoever he is, vanishes into the night with Phoebe? The next shockwave is going to be the transformation of Ava Jerome. We have seen Ava as a mob boss, a victim, and a schemer. But if she loses Ethan's child after opening her heart to him and risking everything to save them, we are going to see a level of vengeance that makes her past crimes look like child's play. Ava will not just grieve. She will go to war. She will utilize every dark connection she has ever made to hunt this man down, and she will not care who gets caught in the crossfire. What happens next may be the total radicalization of Ethan Lovett. Stripped of his lies, exposed to the town, and robbed of the child he swore to protect, Ethan will have to evolve from a charming grifter into a ruthless hunter. There's a chance that Ava and Ethan will form an unholy, unstoppable alliance, burning down anyone and anything that stands between them and getting Phoebe back. The story is moving far beyond a simple paternity secret. It is hurtling toward a violent emotional war where the lines between hero and villain will be completely erased. We are looking at a future where desperation breeds monsters, and guys, I cannot wait to see who survives the fallout when the dust finally settles.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.